Ayanda MVP on Y.
On this Fit Check Wednesday, we're talking the effects of cyberbullying on mental health. And of course, I'm not alone. I do have an expert with me, Dr. David Moepeng, the first African cyber psychologist who specializes in promoting online safety and promoting mental health in the digital space. David will be in South Africa to roll out a program in townships, educating individuals in low-income brackets about online safety. Hello, David, and welcome to Home Run.
Good afternoon. My name is David Moepeng. I am the lead coordinator of the African Cyber Smart Network, which is a non-profit organization that promotes online safety across Africa. We have member organizations in different countries who work under a common goal of advancing online safety, education, cybersecurity awareness across the continent. The African Cyber Smart Network is based in Pretoria. I also work as, I'm a trained cyber psychologist. I work as an online safety specialist. I'm the founder of Cyber Smart Botswana, which is a non-profit organization based in Botswana that promotes online safety through public education campaigns, through training programs in schools, programs targeting different groups within society, in communities. We have programs for professionals, we have programs for parents, for students in schools, for adolescent girls, and just different groups of society really. So we tackle different online safety risks and threats as they relate to that particular group of society that would be targeting in our campaigns.
Shout out, David. Now, what is cybersecurity and how does cybersecurity help in aiding online safety?
Ayanda MVP. Cybersecurity basically is measures that organizations, internet users put in place to safeguard their digital assets. Digital assets, it could be computers, networks, data that is stored in those devices. It could be mobile phones, it could be any digital device really, like tablets and storage networks, data centers. So those measures that are put in place to ensure the security of digital assets that I've mentioned are known as cybersecurity. There's also online safety. People often confuse cybersecurity with online safety. Cybersecurity has to do with the security of digital assets, and then online safety is, basically the safety of the user. As we engage with technology and it becomes part of our daily lives, and it takes center stage in our lives, including social lives, including the way we engage. It becomes part of our culture, our socialization. It can also, online safety threats can also impact on our safety as users, on our well-being. So online safety really has to do with the well-being of the user, ensuring that the user is protected from negative effects of inappropriate use of technology, from cyber attacks, on their well-being. So that's what online safety is all about.
And what are the implications of cyberbullying?
Ayanda MVP. The safety of the user begins with the security of the devices, the technological devices, the tools that they use, whether access the internet or use digital technologies as a whole, whether it's gaming or whatever it is really that they're trying to do through the use of digital technologies. So before we talk about the safety of the user, we have to ensure that the tools that they're using are secure. They cannot be penetrated easily by hackers, because it can start with hacking and lead to scamming and lead to cyberbullying and lead to identity theft that will then have a bearing on one's personal identity, a bearing on one's emotional well-being because of the consequences of the actions of the hackers. So it is very important to understand that before we talk online safety, there needs to be cybersecurity. The technology needs to be secure. The networks need to be secure. The devices that they're using, whether it's a computer or a laptop, needs to be secure. What do I mean? There needs to be measures in place that make the devices not easily penetratable. You can talk about privacy settings, you can talk about security settings on the devices, you can talk about antivirus, the use of secure passwords. There's so many cybersecurity measures that one needs to ensure that they have installed on their programs, on their devices, on their networks to ensure their security, then that's when we can now talk about their well-being as a user, their safety as a user. Once you have covered the basics, which is the security, then we talk about the user. Looking at the negative effects of cyber attacks on individuals, on users, and how they impact on their well-being. Like someone who has been cyberbullied, as an example, that is likely to affect their emotional, psychological well-being and lead to mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, because of the experiences that they would have had online. So basically that's how we can ensure online safety, by first starting with cybersecurity, making sure that the basics are covered, the networks that we use, the devices that we use are secure. We have the measures, we have the safeguards in place to prevent against intrusion, against cyber attacks, and other threats that exist out there in the digital space.
And David, lastly from my side, how do we protect mental health in the digital space?
I think it starts with awareness. We need comprehensive, robust, widespread cybersecurity awareness. Listen, digital technologies are now part of our daily lives. They are, part of what people do on a daily basis, whether it's at home, kids play using, digital devices, using the internet, at work, and that's how we're socializing with our friends. So it is now intertwined with our social lives, and it can have a bearing on our psychological well-being. Also because, digital platforms are so immersive. I'm sure you have realized that sometimes when someone is on social media, even when you call them, sometimes they become so immersed on what they're doing on their phone or what they're doing on the computer, even if they're playing a game, to a point where they get into that space with all their senses. Meaning that if there's something wrong in that digital, if something goes wrong in that space, it will definitely affect all their senses that they would have gotten into that space with. So definitely studies have proven that inappropriate use of digital technologies can impact on mental well-being. So the most important thing really is for people to be aware of the negative effects of inappropriate use, inappropriate engagement through technology. From a perpetrator's point of view as well, it's important that we promote digital citizenship. Digital citizenship is a concept that is similar to the concept of Ubuntu, where that in society you exist within a society and amongst others, and you ought to treat others with respect, whether it's through communication, whether it's through various forms of interaction. And then there is also awareness from a user perspective, or a victim perspective, or a potential victim perspective, where we encourage people to be alert at all times, be careful what they share, the spaces that they visit in online, and when I say be careful what I share, I mean be aware that what is personal information has to be kept private. Just because you are in online spaces doesn't mean that the whole world must know everything about you, because it is such information that we share that often can be taken and used against us.
True story. David, thank you so much for joining us. And on any last words, where can we follow you if you would like to find out more information about when you do come through to South Africa?
And yes, for any South Africans out there who may want to engage with us or reach out to us, we are available on the different social media networks, on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as LinkedIn as the African Cyber Smart Network.
Weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m. on Y.